Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Mike Dodderer and my colleague Steph Chapman, Stephanie Chapman. It's the it's the Stephen Dot Show. I was going to say the Stephen Chap Show. And Stephanie, for whatever reason, she's back in Atlantic City. And as you know, last week we had our show and we dedicated it to her father, who just recently passed away. And she was having some technical difficulties. So we're going to go ahead with the show. We come on every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And what Steph and I wanted to talk about today, and again, this is the Steph and Dot Show, brought to you by Nirvana Gold Rush. And actually, we're going to do a little commercial. I'm going to share the screen. And we're going to do a little commercial. So I'll hit share screen. And we click there. And we click there. And let's go to share the screen. So here we go. And here is a little commercial. If we can get this over here. There we go. And we'll hit this and turn up the volume.
Hey, you want to witness some history? Okay, back in the day, George and a few of our founding fathers had hemp farms. Yeah, a president grew his own. Look it up. It was normal. Speaking of, you remember this classic bit of propaganda? Madness? How about wellness? How about everyday good people are using it to calm their pain, their stress, their anxieties? And a product that drove people to the black market is now creating a new global market. That's a lot of jobs. And the same thing that inspired the creators, the makers, and the disruptors. The symbol of counterculture is, at long last, just culture. It's normal again. Here's to the new normal.
I love that commercial. It's the new normal. And let me get back to the show here so I can go back to stop sharing. There we go. Well, anyway, that is the new normal, Nirvana Gold Rush. So if you want more information, you just look at that little ticker tape. And again, this is the Steph and Dot Show. And we talk about sports because that's Steph and I met through Nirvana Gold Rush. And she loves sports. I love sports. She went to Reed High School in Reno, Nevada. I went to Reno High School in Reno, Nevada, one of the 4 high schools I went to. And we started talking about sports, and then one thing led to another. And I saw her passion about sports, and I said, this woman needs to have her own show. And I said, but she's never done it before. And I said, you know what? Why don't we do it together? And it's the Steph and Dot Show, but you take the lead. So it's exciting for me to see women in leadership roles. And that's one of the things that we're really excited about with Nirvana Gold Rush. We really are looking for great women leaders out there. We find that in the sharing economy, women are the best. I mean, 80% of the best people as far as sharing and educating are women. Not to take anything away from the men, but we really want to discover great women out there. So if you have any information or if you want information and you want to know more about what we're doing, just go to those links below. And you can contact Stephanie Chapman, or myself. We're all over the internet. You can Google us, and we're not hard to find. So with that, I'm going to go actually back to screen sharing, because there's a couple articles that caught our attention, Steph and I, And here we're going to go to an article that was in the New York Times, and it's solving a pandemic puzzle inside the return of sports to a Power Five program. And they are focused, of all the schools in the country, they selected the University of California, Berkeley. They didn't select my alma mater. They didn't select Ohio State. They didn't select Florida, Alabama, Nebraska, Texas, Washington. They selected the University of California. And I highly encourage you to read this is the first installment. And, I really feel for these athletes that are playing today. Really, and this is just my own opinion, but I think the older people are very selfish. And what I mean by that is I believe that this pandemic attacks older people. Not completely. I mean, I know there's exceptions, but the chances of a young person dying from this is slim to nil. And the problem is you have older coaches. You might have a coach who's 60 years old, and if he has some pre-existing condition and gets the virus, that could be dangerous. So if I were the commissioner of the Pac-12, I would say to any coaches that feel they're compromised, they're concerned, step aside for a year, bring in new coaches, bring in young coaches, bring in as many young people as you can and have them play, but don't shut down the sport. But they didn't do that. And the reason they didn't do that, there's political things happening. There's politics and there's business. And I'm going to bet that Mr. Zuckerberg doesn't want everybody to see this. I have close to 5,000 friends and 1,200 followers on Facebook, and they don't all see what I'm talking about right now because they control it. They control this message. And, I just saw where they're going to try to shut down all ads, political ads. And I forget about what side before the election. That's amazing to me. I mean, we're a freedom of speech and, society. And to be able to say, you can't say this or you can't say that, you know what? That's what makes the United States what it is today. It's freedom of speech. And I hope that this message that I'm getting to some 5,000 friends, I hope it gets out there because it's a shame. And let me tell you, if it doesn't get out there, there will be other social networks that will emerge where hundreds of millions of people will go to another social network. That will happen. I guarantee you, if they continue to shut down freedom of speech, if someone wants to express themselves, that's dangerous. And I understand hate, anything where you're professing hatred and violence. That's a tough call. But when you're just expressing this type, like for example, what I'm saying right now, and for this not to go out to the all my friends, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So I have a good friend who his name is Jim Rutter, and he's the CEO of a company called Vitae. And you should Google Jim Rutter, Vitae, Vitae, Vitae as in curriculum vitae, and it's Vitae. And they're going to be a force to reckon with. And it's good. I mean, could you imagine if Ray Kroc didn't have any competition, if it was just Ray Kroc, meaning McDonald's everywhere, and you didn't have In-N-Out Burger, you didn't have Burger King, you didn't have Taco Bell, you didn't have Kentucky Fried Chicken, you didn't have, Dairy Queen. I could go on and on and on and on. Competition is what makes an industry good. And you have this in the entertainment industry. I believe people are turning off the set. They're turning off the set because it's negative, and they're watching people like Brene Brown. They're watching Joe Rogan. They're watching people that don't need the networks. They can get their message out. And what I would say is you may need to change the model. I mean, I've always believed in micropayments, and micropayments are, I would be willing to pay Facebook $10 a month, meaning $10 a month. I want every one of my friends to see this, but they're not going to do that. I don't think. They like the control. That's my opinion. Maybe this will get to Mark Zuckerberg and I'll start paying $10 a month. But for my message, or for anyone's message, not to get out there to the people that friended one another, doesn't make sense. Just does not make sense to me. But in any event, we move on. And again, this is the Steph and Dot Show, brought to you by Nirvana Gold Rush. And we're going to talk about controversial subjects. We're not going to pussyfoot around and not talk about what's real, because that's what makes Joe Rogan. The reason people listen to Joe Rogan, he's authentic, he's real. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to talk about what we feel is real. So getting back to these young men and women in sport and college athletics, I feel so bad for them that they're not able to play. But that is changing. I think you're going to see, I heard some rumor that the Big Ten might start playing in October. There's a lot of pressure, I'm sure, coming out of Lincoln, Nebraska, or Columbus, Ohio, or Ann Arbor, Michigan. I mean, those places, they want football. And those young men and those communities, they should be able to play football. And you know what? If it needs to be with few people in the stands, let them play. Let them play. The professional sports teams are playing. College should play as well. That's just my call, because college football, there's no doubt about it, it's professional football. And those young men should be paid. For many, many years, the National Football League has used college football as their minor league system. In baseball, they have a minor league system, which they've had to cut back. And there's a lot of changes going on right now. And that's why Nirvana Gold Rush is one of those companies. We got a little guest coming in here. Oh, speaking of Nirvana Gold Rush, this is our founder. Okay. Any event. Okay, so I'm going to have to sign off, and we will be back on next Thursday. And wishing everyone a wonderful day. And again, the Steph and Dot Show, brought by Nirvana Gold Rush, will be here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.